But Nick, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me shoot one towards you real
All
quick.
right.
Anything that you've seen that's getting you excited for the potential possibility of the future of the NFL?
Oh, buddy, I tell you what, I am excited. The future of the NFL. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little thing that I touched on in the newsletter today. Right. If anyone's listening, by the way, we do a newsletter every day. It's a great way to support the show. It's on Substack. You can see we always throw the link in the bio, so like you can just if you're watching this, it's just right there. But it's a great way to help the show, help support the show, and we put it out daily, Monday through Friday. But anyway, so what I was touching on there today is something that I'm very excited about, which is a rule change that got proposed. And the rule change that got proposed is essentially, what happens is instead of having onside kicks, because the onside kicks kind of been bullshit the last few years, instead of having onside kicks, you would be allowed to still kick an onside kick if you wanted. However, if you chose to two times a game, you would be able to go for a 4th and 15 from like the your own 25, I think it is. It's like from right where you would kick it off at. If you get the first down, you retain the ball from the spot that you're at. So for you run your play 4th and 15, you got to get to the 40 or whatever, right? You get throw a nice pass to the 42, first down at the 42, and you're going. If you don't get it, the other team gets the ball at your 25
Yeah.
going in.
So major risk and reward there.
And I think that not just that rule in particular, but I just think that the way that rule shows that the NFL teams are thinking, and the fact
Yeah.
that rule I think got proposed twice actually last year and then this year as well. Like that is showing that the NFL is looking at a lot of different possibilities. You've seen it with like the replay like system,
Yeah.
and you've seen it with a few different things. I am very excited for the way that the league is going because I think for a long time the league struggled a little bit with getting people on board, right? You and I always heard it, right? Everything was like the pussification of the NFL. You had all
Yeah,
these
for
old
sure.
timers and these hardliners
They
who,
don't even let these guys hit anymore.
yep,
It's like, no, we just don't want all these players that hit players to
have
have
CTE.
brain damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I think for a long time there was a struggle there for 4 or 5 years to get everything transitioned over. People were
Yeah.
resistant to fantasy football at first. They didn't like how they felt like it was making the game gimmicky. They felt like, and then people adjusted, right? Then
Yep.
people didn't like the rule changes that protected quarterbacks and then people adjusted, right? The game is still wildly entertaining. And I think that the NFL has done a good job of kind of like being able to listen to the fans, listen to the safety side of things, and still put a product
Yes.
out there that we all love to see. It is by no means
Yep.
it is by no means a flag football league out there. It is by no means
Yeah,
some
for
league
sure.
where everyone only cares about fantasy football. Like the rumors that you used to hear, I mean, they're just not there. And so I think with some of these rule changes and stuff, like I'm excited for the future of football of like what the game will look like. I think the players are
Yeah.
becoming more hybrid like type of players. Kyle Pitts is a great example of that. I mean, his whole
Yeah.
draft, like the way they broke him down in the draft was like, look, he's a tight end, but he's like a receiver, and like you can kind of play him like wherever you want, and he can do all this stuff.
Yeah.
The tight end position is super important nowadays. So is that defensively. It's like those that hybrid like defensive end linebacker position, and then also those hybrid like strong
Yeah.
safety linebacker positions. Like the game is going in such a cool way and it's adapting, and I just think that's really cool. Now
Yeah.
granted, look, I don't want to see a bunch of gimmicky changes, right? I mean, at the end of the day, everybody
For
still
sure.
wants still wants NFL football, but dude, in my mind, like I'm excited about the way that it's like progressing. I'm excited about the fact that like gambling is getting involved and how that plays in. Like
Yeah.
I just like I guess the best way to word it is I like all the modernization. I like all of the sort
Yes.
of and I
And-
think that encompasses the rule changes. I think that encompasses the versatility of the players.
Yeah.
I think it encompasses the new kind of styles of
Yep.
offenses and all that. Like I just like how it's becoming a more modern game. It feels like when the NBA brought the three-pointer in and and it kind of changed things. It was a significant change and it created
Yep.
this modern version of the game that we see today. And I think that a lot of that is going on in the NFL right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think you hit it right. Like with the safety stuff, like you saw those rules start to go into effect. But like I think people forget like that the NFL is such a big organization that for them to change safety rules, they couldn't just be like 1 year, just like, okay, we put in these 4 safety rules that are going to help the NFL because it's too shocking. It's like, okay, well, now we're eliminating or we're moving the kick up. Or first it was
Yep.
we're eliminating the wedge block, right? You can't just 5 guys come together and just steamroll people. Now we're moving thin. Now it's okay. Well, you can only have 5 guys on each side of the kicker. You can't have any more than that. So it has kind of made that once super awesome play of an onside kick that like everyone was excited for late in the game. It kind of just eliminated that. It's like, okay, now it's even further of a shot to recover this onside kick. And I'm sure it's not like teams weren't trying to innovate around how to do an onside kick, because you did see some different things. It just, I don't think with how the NFL onside kick rules, anything was gonna get better.
No, I agree.
So it is awesome to see this, because like you will see some, if this rule was implemented, it changes the game. It still keeps the game. It just gives you another alternative that you can, like you said, only use 2 times a game, like a challenge flag, So the teams aren't going to be wasting that early in the game. Like it's only going to be a late game situation.
Right.
But how awesome would that be if, okay, you're down 2 scores, your team scores, they do the 4th and 15, get it, score again, tie the game up. Now you get another 4th and 15. So a team like the fucking Packers with Aaron Rodgers down 3 scores, has the balls left with 3 minutes, boom, scores in a minute. 2 minutes left. They got to score 2 times.
Yes.
Now you're 4th and 15. Boom. Okay, you got it. Now you're on the 42. You got to get there again. A guy like Aaron Rodgers is marching his team down potentially 3 times in a matter of 3 minutes. It changes the game, but it changes it in a way where now we took something that became lackluster and not exciting at all, and now it changes it to something that is exciting.
Yeah.
Because when you have like a guy like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, one of those guys, and you're down 3 with less than 5 minutes left, you might be feeling a little better than you would be if you were down 5 minutes,
no doubt,
and you had to kick onside kicks.
No doubt.
It's an interesting part of the game that I think does get past. I think the NFL teams will love it, especially ones with good quarterbacks that have fantastic 2-minute drills. But you're going to see like games really tighten up towards the end, because a 4th and 15, even though it's a little longer and you have 1 play to get it there, the masterminds that are coaching are going to throw in packages for 4th and 15 that are going to be unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yep.
It's going to be halfback screens, trick plays.
Yep.
So many different things that'll be very exciting to watch. And it'll be interesting to see how those defenses play those 4th and 15s.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you bringing the blitz? Are you kind of in a little more prevent because you got some yards to give up? Like, what's going on there? So that is a very interesting element that I think they're going to be adding potentially.
Potentially, yep. And I hope the more fans that I think the more fans that get out there and just say like, this is what we want, like the NFL is paying attention. Like the more fans that are like, this is awesome, like we should do this, like they'll see that they're paying attention. Like that is a thing. If you notice with the NFL, like say what you want about Roger Goodell, but like think about how much the NFL has embraced like the things that the fans enjoy. It's a reality.
For sure.
Like they have embraced fantasy football. They have embraced sports betting. Like they are going to keep embracing those things. And I think some of these rule changes, like, absolutely will be able to do that. And it's not shocking. It's the rule obviously favors the offenses and for casual fans, and that's pretty awesome. You get more scoring, and we've talked about that before on this show. Like, we're not trying to see 80-point games, but a little more scoring isn't bad, and having more competitive games is pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully,
absolutely. Yeah, and also just let's touch on Roger Goodell for a minute here. He gets a lot of shit.
He does.
He gets a lot of shit, but I would make the argument he personally has made growth, and I think, the influence of the internet and stuff like that has helped that, because he used to be a fucking dick.
Yeah, for
Back in
sure.
the day
For
with
sure. Everybody
just
hated him.
like with player incidences and stuff, and coming down like ruling like hard on shit, like with Pac-Man Jones and different things like that. And it's like he kind of has taken more interest in players that have struggled, but also I think they've eliminated some of those rules that was getting players in trouble,
Yep.
So
Yep.
it helps that and he has moved the NFL, and we got to remember that the NFL is a huge organization, so
Oh yeah.
nothing's ever going to move quick as lightning, So
Yep.
it takes time. So when you look past, like 5, 6 years, and you do look at the changes, like yeah, there's some things that have changed, but it doesn't really seem like they've changed. Like it's morphing over time, and not so much just changing
Yep.
rapidly, which I think is
Yep.
helpful for those old heads, you know, and these younger generations coming through makes it much more exciting.
For sure. It's really cool to see. I think the NFL seems to be in a good place right now, and
Yeah.
I think that they are. I think the ownership is the ownership of the teams. Obviously, they're Goodell's boss at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like they I think have started to transition the way that they think too. I think they've
Yes.
started listening to the fans as well a little bit, and at the end of the day, like that's always going to be good. It's always going to be good. I think the NFL is in a healthy place, and it's 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 awesome, man. Especially
Yeah.
for
I
fans
mean,
like us. I mean, it's the
th-
best.
yeah, their ratings are probably going to be better than ever, and I don't care
Yep.
what anyone
Yeah,
says.